All right, hey everyone. Sorry, running behind over here. Um, Thanks for joining the stream. All right, so I'm going to get right into this because we're here to talk about trades. All right, let me just looking at a couple of things here. All right, just got my comments up. Okay, cool. Hey, Slow, how are you? All right, good to see you. Yeah, sorry I'm running behind. I'm supposed to start at 9:30. It's like 9:45. Anyway, so in this stream, I'm going straight to the Trade Scanner Pro, and we're going to look for trades. Now, let's switch to this over. I have my Tradeovate account, excuse me, set up here. So I'm going to change this to the NASDAQ futures. By the way, Bitcoin, real quick, you guys know the analysis that I put out on Bitcoin on Sunday. And look, the scenario is trying, right? If we break this trend line, we're looking at test of 70, test of 80 or whatever, test of 76. Anyway, all right, let's go to NQ. So we'll change this to NQ1. All right, this is the daily chart. And I talked about this on Wednesday, right? On Monday and on Wednesday, we talked about the lower high, and it looks like the weakness is following through. Let's switch this one, NQ. Actually, we want the MNQ. MNQ, because we're doing the minis. I mean, the micros. We're not doing the minis. And there's a trade in play. Let me change this one too. It's the same thing, but let's just change it anyway. Okay. Hey, Hussein, how are you? Yeah, what a day. We haven't even gotten started yet. All right, thanks for stopping by. So, yeah, look at this. What time frame is this? Oh, this is the 1 hour. All right, so let's go back to the 1 minute. We're going to be looking at the 1 minute. I'm going to take the moving averages off the chart. I just had them on for that one example that one time, and I haven't taken them off the chart. We're not going to use those. We don't need them. Okay, now, so let's go through the steps real quick, right, to just get our idea. Also, let me see. I got to test something over here real quick. We're going to I have this thing. I have this block that I made. Okay. You guys probably can see that, right? That block, I was supposed to test this earlier. That block is supposed to block the account number when I show the account information. I don't know why they block the account number. Okay. It's an Apex evaluation account. But I've not seen one streamer show their account numbers. So I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if there's some kind of security thing with that, or I don't know. So that's why I'm going to block the account number. But when I pop the thing up. Anyway, all right. So we know generally right now we're pulling back, right? Let's just a couple of things that we want to notice. When we're dealing with futures, NASDAQ futures, right? You want to look at yesterday's information, right? So here's yesterday's candle right here. I'm in the way. Oh, let me move out of the way here. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. Yesterday's candle, right? We're below yesterday's low. See that? So that's kind of bearish. And on my chart over here, this line represents yesterday's low on the smaller time frame. So we're obviously that's acting as a resistance. That's notable. So we want to keep that on the chart. All right. Yesterday's high, we're nowhere near it, so that's not in play. But that's pretty much it we have there, right? Let's go to let's go to an hourly chart over here. I'm sorry, that's the wrong chart. On this one over here, on my daily chart, I'm going to change this to an hourly because I want to see if I can get any other reference points from my hourly chart. Okay. So we have this blue area. That's the pre-market. So it looks like we have a pre-market low that was established there. Okay. Yeah. And this is yesterday's low right here. And then we have a pre-market high over here, which we're going to use. That's going to be our reference point. All right. Because we don't have any other reference points. So those are acceptable. Now, those are our levels. The general momentum right now is bearish, as we know. especially since we're below yesterday's low. So we're going to keep that in mind for the Trade Scanner Pro. Now, I'm going to open up this chart. So we know we're looking for shorts, basically. We want to work on the short side. Okay. Now, on my smaller time frame, what I want to see here, obviously we're waiting for a signal. Now, I'm probably going to have to go to a smaller, I'll go as low as a 30-second. In fact, let's take a look there real quick. There's a signal. All right. And I like it. So I'm going to short 2 contracts. It's quick, I know, but we've determined a couple of things real quick. Now, I just took 2 contracts short on this because now look at this. This is a 30-second chart, right? The trade was called back here. And the market went lower and came back up to retest the entry price. That's what's happened. Notice that the trailing stop is in play here, okay? Because this trade was on the chart. So I have not taken the trade at the origin of the trade. I took the trade on the retest just now, on the retest of the entry price. Because I always tell you guys, that's a possible entry. And by the way, if you're new to the Trade Scanner Pro, whatever, I know I have all my regulars here, but if you're new, if you want to know how it works, I'm not explaining how it works because I have a video. Just click the link in the description. There's a video in there that explains how this thing works. Okay, so I took this. Now, what time is it? Okay, we're going into 10 o'clock. Now, I know that there's a number today. I hope I don't know what time the number comes out. Maybe one of you guys can tell me. Core PCE is out today. If that's a 10 o'clock number, I'm in trouble. So it's core personal consumption expenditures or something like that. Anyone want to tell me what time that number comes out? That's either a 10 o'clock number. Maybe it was an 8:30 number. Let's see. What does 8:30 look like over here? This is 8:30. So maybe it was this over here. I don't know. Can someone look that up real quick? Core PCE. If it's 10 o'clock, we're gonna have a fun time with this because this thing, I mean, it could go my way, but it can also go the wrong way very quickly. That's why I don't like taking trades going into news events. All right, so the trailing stop has reduced my risk. What is my risk, by the way? Let's see. 41 points. All right. So that's $160 on 2 micro lots. All right. Now I got a little green going here. Well, that was my max risk, right? That was my actual risk based on the trailing stop is 34 points. So what is that? 68? 34 points each. That's not bad. That's 68. That's like $140 if I get stopped out on 2 of them. All right. Anyone know anything about that core PCE number? I'm going to try to give this trade a chance here. Right now, this is a 30-second chart. Wow. All right. Not bad. If we get to the price objective, what am I going to do? I'm going to cover 1. So let's prepare that. Now, it would be nice if I could set my stop and all that stuff on the platform, but it's just moving so quickly. Like I don't have to. I'm just gonna go with this. All right. So we touched that profit objective. We're almost there. I'm just gonna buy 1 back. Can we do it? Can we do it? It's so close. Do it. Okay. It's my Arnold impression. All right. Next candle. We're like right there. I'm covering 1. I covered 1. We're like right there. Now, I'm going to try to hold on to the runner. All right, so good thing I covered 1 right there. Instead of waiting for another tick or 2. You can't find anything, Hussein? check. So if you're checking like I should have checked my economic calendar. Maybe you can Google it. Core PCE Friday, Core PCE today. I don't know if that comes out from is that the Bureau of Labor Statistics that puts that out? I don't even know who puts that out. Man, it's a good thing I covered that one. So this level that we put on the chart, that overnight low, is sticking. Look at that. Nice bounce off that level. Would have been nice if we just blew right through it. But no. All right. So let's see if this lower high develops. We just have to give this a chance now. But that's again why, you do have to use some of your own judgment. Like in this case, I covered that one. You guys watched me cover it right here because we were basically at the price objective. I don't have to wait for it to go through the number. It's like, that's good enough. I'll take the money. Right. So I locked in one. I'm trying to give this runner a chance. It's still green. And this could be hard, especially with the NASDAQ, because the NASDAQ is wild. Okay, what time is it? All right, we got 5 minutes till 10 o'clock. The NASDAQ is wild, and it does wild things. So, just have to be patient with it. But I'll take it so far. Now, usually with something like this, with the Trade Scanner Pro, like I was saying on Wednesday, we're looking at maybe 1 or 2 trades per session. My session meaning, 9:30 to 10:30. If I could start on time, 9:30 to 10:30 is the session, because I'm not going to trade outside of that time. Also, I don't touch this account unless I'm on a stream. Okay, I know you guys have no point of reference for the numbers, but I'm going to see if I can pull the numbers up today. If I get my account blocker in there, right? So yeah. So we'll let this thing play out here. Now, so I'm using Apex. I'm not an affiliate. They're not accepting new affiliates right now. There's a whole number of prop firms that you can use. I'm using a $50,000 evaluation account. That's what this is. And the goal is to see if we can beat the evaluation. 1:30 p.m. Maybe you're in another time zone. I don't think that's a 1:30 number. Well, if it's I'm assuming either that's an 8:30 or that's like going to be 10:30. I don't know what time zone you're in, but I'm on Eastern time zone, right? New York time. So it's like -4 GMT or something like that. All right, we're at the objective again. If we can't get out of this thing, if we can't blow through this, if we blow through this, this should be like a nice little bear party. If we can blow through that. But if we can't, I'm getting out. I'm not going to stick around for this, because that means if this is going to hold, this may be the bottom of the day, possibly. Right? I don't want to be short from there. Okay, nice test, nice retest, but this thing, see, what I don't like is this thing when it retests like that, I mean, it should just go. It should just break and go. This is not a break and go. I'm hesitating at the line again. Oh, 8:30. Okay. All right, so then core PC is out of the way. Great. So that means I don't have a 10 o'clock number. I don't. This is why I talk about on Mondays when I do my Monday stream, and I talk about the news events. This is exactly why this situation right here. You don't want to get caught in a situation like this with a position going into an event. Now, the event could come out favorable, possibly. The NASDAQ could be 100 points in my favor, like in 2 seconds, but it can also go the wrong way. And often it goes the wrong way. Okay, I don't like this price action. Now, here's the thing with this. I have a couple of choices, right? I have the trailing stop, which is now green. This is it's profitable. It's not wildly profitable, but it's profitable. If it touches that trailing stop, I'm still green. Okay? I'm trying to give the runner a chance. But here's one thing you have to understand with the Trade Scanner Pro, working with prop firm parameters. The parameters from Apex are not market-centric parameters. None of them are across any of their prop firms. The parameters that they force you within are meant for one thing, and that is for you to lose. They don't want you winning. As much as they say, oh no, it's a win-win, win-win nothing, win-win for them. Okay. So it forces you to basically work inside of very tight parameters, which is makes that's why the evaluations are so hard, because they make them as inflexible as possible. Markets are messy. You need flexibility to win. And when they take that away, obviously they're reducing your chances. So my point is, with the Trade Scanner Pro, you have to be careful with the runner, because here's why. There's a particular rule that Apex has. It's the trailing max loss. And the trailing max loss is taken from your intraday high. So what that means is, whatever my P&L was at the lowest point there, because I'm short, that's what oh, look at that. I may have to get out of that. What is, I thought, no, hold on. See, all right, there must be news. That core PCE must have come out just now. That's news right there. Let me watch this thing. Ah, man, I was hoping that red candle would stay red. That would have been nice. This thing's going the wrong way. See what I mean? That's what I mean about news. That's what I mean. See, I thought we had the news out of the way. Obviously not. This type of candle, that's a news candle. Okay, typical news. When you spike like that, that's news. So that must be core PCE, I'm guessing. It's like knee jerk, So, all right, I'll give it a chance. So, as I was explaining, I'll try to give this a chance. But if this thing turns green again, I'm getting out. So the max stop, which on this account I believe is you can lose $2,500 on this account before you blow the account. Now that moves, and that's going to move. So that stop has moved relative to this point, because that's the highest point of my P&L intraday. So the reason why they do that is they force you to take profits quickly. They want you to do that. They don't want you to ride winners, because it's not beneficial for them. Now, they can, everything that they do, they can justify it. Oh, but it's for your benefit. It's nothing that they do is for our benefit. You have to understand prop firms. I'm going to talk a lot of negative things about them, because there are a lot of negative things that we need to realize. But not everything is negative. They are worthwhile in some ways. Otherwise, they wouldn't exist. Right? No one would even bother with them. Like the scam would only run for so long before people are like, this is a complete scam. But it's not. There is potential there. Right? I've researched it long enough to realize that there is some opportunity there, but you have to know what you're doing. Who they're going to fleece are the people that are ignorant, new traders. Like, they always get fleeced. Well, they're especially going to fleece them. But prop firms are like, no, they're exactly like casinos, right? So casinos are not in business for us to win, ever. As much as they say, oh, we get the best payouts, blah, 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 right? All that nonsense. It's just to lure in ignorant traders and gamblers. I'm going to give you a good example here in a moment. I just have to do something about this trade, because I don't like this price action. Like, we keep touching that profit objective. We're not blowing through that level. Like, when we blew through it there, when we blew through it on that news item, when we blew through that, we should have kept going. I'm getting out. Goodbye. I'm out. All right, so I locked it in. I don't care what happens to it now. It was green. But now the thing is, so I locked it in. I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to draw a line there, right? I locked it in around here. Okay, that's where I closed the position. Okay, completely. My trailing P&L, though, my trailing max loss is based on this number, because that was the high. Oh, of course. I lock it in, and it's going to look beautiful now. All right, whatever. Now, the reason why I'm being so defensive in this situation, again, is because of that inflexibility, right? If I don't want to give the whole trade back because now my max loss limit is a little tighter. It's not, I mean, it's we're not even close to it. But the thing is, I want to try to exit these trades near their highs, near the high of the P&L, right? They force you to do that. So there's videos on this stuff, like if you don't understand what I'm talking about. But anyway, this is also why placing limit orders in advance, like if I happen to have a limit order somewhere around there, the limit order gets tapped, you're out, and everything is good. But again, that's a random situation, right? There's no way to know that this thing is going to spike and do that kind of thing. Yeah, it's quick. Okay, but that's the NASDAQ, man. That's the NASDAQ. This thing's wild. So we'll watch this thing for a little while. That was a nice trade. It's green. I'm done. Like, I'm not going to take any more trades. First of all, this trade is going to be open. The trade idea on this chart is going to be open until the trailing stop is touched, right? We're nowhere near it. Okay, but the NASDAQ, too quick. This is kind of a slow day, but this is a NASDAQ. This is why everyone likes it, because it's wild. So just to kind of recap on that trade, we knew going into this that we were looking for shorts, right? That was pretty clear. When I pulled up this chart, the 30-second chart, this trade was on the chart. So it wasn't like I had to wait for it. The trade was there because I pulled that up. By the time remember when I pulled this trade up, when I pulled up this chart, we were here. The trade was open for at least a few minutes, right? The trade idea was on the chart for at least a few minutes. I entered the trade on the retest of the entry. So it gave me that second opportunity without having to wait for another setup, right? The setup was still in play. I managed to get that, and here we are. I'm out of the position. This would have been nice, but whatever. I have to lock in some profits, especially since Wednesday was a losing day. Wednesday was minus $158. Okay, so I want to see if I could pull up my P&L situation. Oh, by the way, if you're new, let me play this. If you're new to the stream, you can click on that. Please help me support the channel. Like I was saying, I would like to do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but I need to see support from people. If no one wants to see the stream, I'll get the message, right? Because people won't subscribe, they won't like the channel, all that stuff, and there won't be much of an incentive for me to continue to do this. But man, that would have been nice. Look at that. All I had to be was just a little bit more patient. I got out over here. All right. Now, the Trade Scanner Pro is not the thing that got me out. I got out on my own judgment. The Trade Scanner Pro says stay in. But I don't want to the thing is, like I was saying before, I don't want to let the trailing stop get touched because I'm trying to avoid that situation with the max trailing stop thing that they have, right? The max loss limit. Look at that. So I just want to give you a quick example before we get to that P&L part, since I have a few minutes here while we watch as this thing plays out. Well, hold on. Let me see how much I exited here. How much have I left on the table? Let's see. 63 points. That's a lot. That's a lot to leave on the table. I basically exited for about 65 points. All right, so I left another 63 points. That would have been 120 points. That'd be like $220 or something like that on one contract. $240 on one contract. That would have been nice. And my risk was 44 points. Okay, that was my max risk. Now, so let me give you a quick example, the casino example, that I want you to think about when you're dealing with prop firms as we watch this thing just collapse. Oh, man. So when you go to a casino, they have this game called Baccarat. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but if you ever go to the Baccarat section, you'll see all these guys and they have little pieces of paper and pencils and they're charting the outcomes of the hands, right? Now, the casino provides the pencil and the paper for these people. Now, do you think for a moment that if this gave the players some sort of advantage, that the casino, but yeah, sure. In fact, here, we'll give you the pencils and the paper. Chart away, my friend. Why do you think they give them that? Do you think it helps them at all? No. What it does is it gives them a false sense of confidence and they bet bigger. Okay? Because Baccarat's a casino game. So, you're playing against the house compared to a game like poker, which is not a casino game. You're not playing against the house. You're playing against other players. The house just gets their cut, right, of each hand. They take a small piece out of the pot. That's why poker is not the most profitable game for them. That's why the poker room is always the hardest room to find. It's always in the most inconvenient part of the casino because that's not their most profitable game. If you ever walk into a casino, the first things they hit you with are slot machines, obviously because those are the most profitable, right? But their casino games, the dealer games, are very profitable games. So those are very easy to find, those games. Baccarat is one of those games. So they want you to bet big and they want you to have confidence. So they give you these tools to use, right? It's the same thing in this industry. All the things that they give you, oh, we give you this, oh, we give you that, oh, we give you this. It's just to basically elicit a false sense of confidence so that you play more of a random game, because this is essentially a random game most of the time. All right, anyway, this was a beautiful trade, man. I'm pissed that I missed this section right here. That would have been a really nice extra boost to my P&L. Anyway, and it just keeps going, right? Look at that. That's the NASDAQ. And that was probably the result of this news, right? We had that news spike, and then this is what happens. Anyway, so let's see if I can pull up that P&L stuff up over here. Now I'm gonna pop my little where is it? I'm gonna pop up my this thing here. Put that on. Now I'm gonna put it over here because I know the P&L number appears around here somewhere. See if I can make it bigger. I'm gonna make this big. All right. I know I'm blocking the chart, right? You should see like a block. I'm blocking the chart. See that? How I'm blocking the chart? Because I know the P&L appears around here somewhere. Now, I don't know why they hide this P&L. It's not the P&L. It's the account number. I don't know why other streamers hide the number. But because what are you going to do? You're going to hack my evaluation account and request a payout in Monopoly money? Like what could you possibly get? All right, so let's see if this works. And I believe it pops up around here somewhere. It's somewhere in this section. I should have tested this earlier. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I'm blocking it with my head. Yeah. All right. That's the number up there. I don't know why. I'm going to block the number. I have to block it. I was blocking it with my head. Great. I don't know why they blocked this now, but I'm blocking it. Okay. That's my account number up there. It's an evaluation account. So I'm going to block my head a bit here too. And make this a little smaller. Oh, I can't make that smaller. All right. So that's it right there. All right. I just have to do that, but I'm not sure why. Okay. So let's take a look at this account summary. So you can see here. Yeah, that's right. Right. Because my account number is right here. Okay. So you could see the P&L over here, right? It says $50,040, right? Because I was minus 158. So I made the money back. Let's take a look at the account summary. So where is my... All right, so today's P&L, see this? So I made $195 on that trade. I could have made a lot more. I could have made like 300 and something because that would have been, this move would have been, and the trade is still open. That trade would have still been open. Okay, so that's where I'm at right now. Okay, so basically I got the account back to break even. Right, I don't have any positions. So like I said, this account, I'm only going to use this account um, for this, right? So I'm not going to place any other trades. All right, so I'll turn this off. All right, so that's where the thing appears. Okay, it appears up there. Again, I don't know why I have to block that. I'm just trying to, take safety precautions here. All right, so let me turn this off. You don't need that anymore. All right, so what are you guys saying? Yeah, well, they follow each other. The NASDAQ and Bitcoin are they're like interconnected now. I guess because you have a lot of these companies and stuff with Bitcoin and blah, blah, blah. They move together. So when NASDAQ gets hammered, Bitcoin gets hammered. Man, this thing just keeps going. How much money have I left on the table? 142 points. That's a lot. That's a lot of points. And it's still going. You see? So all I had to do was be patient for like another minute, and I could have at least captured a good portion of this. So I mean, look at the trailing stop where it is. If I was in this position still, okay, that trade right there would be up 160 points if I was still short and this thing tapped the trailing stop. Oh, consumer sentiment came out today? Michigan consumer sentiment today? That wasn't on the calendar. Not on my calendar. Huh. That's interesting. Well, anyway, so you guys see the story, right? So this was a beautiful trade that the Trade Scanner Pro helped us get a piece of. And again, the Trade Scanner Pro is not the one that shook me out of this trade. I shook myself out of the trade. If I had just listened to the Trade Scanner Pro, I'd still be short. And it just keeps going. So, what do you do in a situation like this? If you're not in the trade, like if you missed it, you don't do anything now. You certainly don't try to buy this. When it's clear cut. This thing is like the momentum is bearish. Now, maybe at some point this thing will reverse, but trying to capture that reversal is a very tough game. I've tried many times to capture these reversals. So in these situations, this is the daily time frame. I'm sorry, this is the 1 hour time frame. Look at that, right? So we busted through the overnight lows. See that? We were below yesterday's low to begin with. So that there was weakness to begin with, right? We were working on the weak side to begin with. So we knew at least we shouldn't be doing anything on the long side. Now, if we just go to the larger time frame here, I mean, this is the daily time frame. Look at this. Now, we shouldn't be that surprised. We saw this coming on Monday, right? The lower high. We're going for the possible double bottom test. Now, today is Friday, right? So next week, we may be testing this low area. Possible double bottom, possible lower low. I mean, look at this bigger picture as I zoom out here, right? Lower high, lower low is likely. So, people are throwing a party like, oh yeah, the party's starting over. Everybody go long, blah, 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 blah. And now you get stuck in this, right? So what to do in this situation for the bigger picture? I mean, again, I'm not going to trade futures on the bigger picture. In fact, I can't because they don't allow overnights. But having an idea of the bigger picture gives you some sense of expectations, right? So this is clearly low. Now we're going into a support area here. Look at this. There's some support here. So like shorting now would be a really bad idea. unless you're looking for like a quick, couple of, 10 ticks or something like that. But shorting here is a high risk, right? Right now in the small time frame. But next week, we may get this test of low. Maybe, by midweek, who knows? That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like it's trying to do. Now, we may close strong today. I know it's hard to believe right now, but this may close as a pin bar. That's a possibility. That would be a higher low if the NASDAQ were to give us that look. But right now, that look isn't there. We have to see how this closes. If we close weak like this, I would be anticipating test of low and possible lower low. So one thing to consider, like if you're trying to take advantage of this on the long side, right? You wait this out. You could look at something like the Qs and you could start accumulating small shares of the Qs, right? When you start testing the low or possibly breaking the low, because I would be looking for the failed low situation where it goes slightly lower into like this area right here. That would equate to something like 460 on the Qs, 465, between 465 and 460, and look for the reversal there. But I would accumulate some in the process. Not a lot, but I would take small bites because, on those lows, we may go a lot lower, possibly. And, but getting caught in the Qs, what are the Qs going to do? Go to zero? So I don't mind taking a long-term position at such a level. And if I have to hold it for a few months, that's okay. It's not a day trade. Does that make sense? But if we're going to be looking for big longs, this is where we'd be looking for them next week. Make sense? So that's why you have to look at the bigger picture and kind of get some perspective from it. So as of right now, this thing is clearly weak. And as the day continues to unfold, look at this, man, this thing doesn't even try to bounce. As the day unfolds, I would be looking for a retrace for another short, right? That's what I'd look for. And you'd have to just be patient and wait for that retrace. Man, how much is this thing worth now? I am so pissed that I got out of this so early. This would have been a huge trade. 233 points. That's a $400 trade right there on one contract, over a $400 trade. That would have been huge. But what am I going to do? I shook myself out. So anyway, all right, so any questions, you guys? Interesting session, huh? And we can at least see how the Trade Scanner Pro really could have helped out if I had just listened to it. But I was anxious to make that money back that I gave away on Wednesday, right? So at least I made it back. At least I'm green on the account now. But this would have been a huge bonus right here. That would have been huge. That's the whole point of working with two contracts was, being able to ride the runner. But like I said, too, that thing with the trailing stop, I don't want the trailing stop. Like at the time, the trailing stop was up here, right? I don't want that trailing stop to get tapped and me give back a good portion of that profit. But look at this. Look what I gave up. So anyway, and that was the outcome of the news there. I guess that Michigan consumer sentiment, which I had no idea came out today. So clearly you could see those kind of news items have an effect. This thing got hammered. Interesting, right? Anyway, any questions? I know that the whole world is streaming right now. So I don't expect a lot of people to watch my stream. But if you like the stream, do me a favor. Least you could do is press the subscribe button, press the like button, all that stuff. That helps out a lot. Doesn't cost anything. And it lets me know that there's interest in this. Otherwise, because honestly, I'd rather not be streaming at this time. So a few more minutes, we'll just watch this thing. But wow, what a move. All right, I don't see any questions. Well, thank you, Hossein. I appreciate that. This is, I know this thing well because I spend a lot of time with the NASDAQ. it's very similar to Bitcoin. I mean, I don't spend a lot of time like when I'm on my own time and I'm not streaming. This is pretty much what I look at. S&P, this, pretty much that's what I day trade. And you can see why. I mean, there's a lot of action here. Man, look at this. So look, this is a little minor. Look at this little minor situation. This little minor pullback, right? Man, something like this, to like get a trade like that, we'd have to be like probably on a 5-second chart, which I'm not going to switch to. 30 seconds is as long as I'm going to go on this. Look at this though. What a move. And it all came from up here, right? The Trade Scanner Pro had it on the screen the entire time. And the trade is still open. So again, you see firsthand, how a tool like this, if you listen to it, can be beneficial, right? The whole idea behind this tool is to help you ride winners like that. I have my own problem with ADA. Okay. With Cardano. Yeah, well, I mean, they're all going to follow. Look, when Bitcoin gets hammered, they're all going to get hammered, right? Bitcoin is like the leader. So that's why I use Bitcoin. If I'm doing anything, I don't really trade any altcoins anyway. If I deal with anything, I deal with like Bitcoin or Ethereum. But Bitcoin is like the S&P. That's how I think of it. So whatever Bitcoin does, pretty much the world follows. The altcoin world follows. Not exactly, but it's very similar. There's an effect, right? Bitcoin has an effect. So that's how I would make my judgments using the Bitcoin. Like the Bitcoin analysis that I use, you can use that as a guide. Like if Bitcoin's looking good, Cardano should be looking okay. Although, like I said, each altcoin has its own situation. Man, this thing's not going to bounce. It's just not bouncing. Man, this would have been a huge trade, man. This is not common. Like, this isn't typical. Like at this point, I mean, look, I would never get the bottom. I can't expect to get the bottom. So to be fair, I have to measure from here. Right? I was short from up here, 184 points. Because the thing is, in order for this trade to close, this thing has to bounce up and touch the trailing stop. So even though the current value of this trade is much greater than that, the current value is 250 points, basically, 250 points. I'd have to give back, a good 50, 60 points. Anyway, right? That sucks, but that's the trailing stop. The trailing stop's never going to get you out at the bottom or the top of something. It has to bounce, and that's when it's going to get you out. It just allows you more potential. So if I chose to get out here, this would be a random exit right here. Same with here. Most likely, if I was in this trade longer, most likely I would have gotten out around here. If I saw something like this, I'm like, all right, I'm taking it. Most likely, that's where I would have gotten out, just based on the price action. If for some reason, if I happen to be in it here, I'd be getting out right now. Because how much more is this thing going to go? Right? I don't want to give back the 60 points. So you're not going to get the bottom. And who knows? This thing may run another 50 points before it turns around. Who knows? Right? But you don't know where the bottom is. That bottom, when it puts itself in, is going to be random. So a couple of key takeaways right now. Clearly, the trend is bearish. You'd be looking for a lower high to develop somewhere along the way over here. We don't really have any more useful levels because we're cleared all the levels. So the only really reference point you have is this level right here, which is a level on a 30-second chart. That's not much of a reliable level. So you'd have to go to a bigger picture to just kind of get a sense of like the roadmap, right? I mean, man, look at this thing. This thing is just, man, look at that. So you have to go back. Look how far you have to go back. So we're fooling around at support level. This is a place like if you were short, this would be a good place to get out, right? And not being aggressively shorting this thing because it's likely to bounce here in the next a couple hours. Here's a level over here too. See this? It's an old support. That might be a good new resistance to go by. What level is that? 756, 19,756. So 19,750 area. All right, so I'll leave you guys with that. While you watch this Trade Scanner Pro just produce more money over here. All right. Any questions? Any questions? All right, so again, people, if you like the stream, do me a favor, subscribe, press the like button, all that stuff. I hope to see the following grow on this opening time. Hopefully I can show up on time next time. I'm still trying to iron out a few things here, but Monday I will stream at this time, and then I will stream again in the afternoon. So I'll be streaming 2 times on Monday. All right, but the afternoon session is going to be all like analysis and stuff. It's not going to be, we're not going to use the Trade Scanner Pro because this is my Trade Scanner Pro session now, the 9:30 to 10:30 time slot, right? And then 3 o'clock or whatever to 4 o'clock will be my analysis. We'll do analysis. And we'll spend the time looking at charts and stuff. All right. All right, guys. So, cool. All right. So I hope you got something out of the stream. Again, thank you for watching. And if you have any questions, you know where to find me, marketmarkets.com. Enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your evening, wherever you are in the world. And thank you again for watching.